What is up, everybody? Welcome back to yet another Kansas City Chiefs post show on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of .com and arrowheadaddict.com, and I am proud fucking Kansas City Chiefs game tonight. We're going to be unfiltered in this one. We're going to be unhinged because we just witnessed what I think was one of the greatest, not just tough games I've ever seen, but one of the greatest games I've ever seen. You know, maybe I am just a prisoner in the minute, and I'll look back like, well, that game wasn't as good as. But to me, in the moment, this feels like maybe the greatest game I've ever seen. Tonight, I'm joined by Michael Darcy of KC Sports Report to talk. Did I cut out there?
Oh yeah, you cut out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. I'm at a loss for words, guys. Like at a certain point.
What are you feeling? What are you feeling?
At a certain point, sometimes in life things just happen. And the Chiefs found a way to win this game in one of the craziest ways I have ever seen. This is easily the greatest Chiefs playoff game we've ever seen. And at the end of the day, like the Buffalo Bills really didn't do anything wrong. It just, they weren't better than Patrick Mahomes when it was important. Like there's not really much they could do. But Josh, I'm so happy to be here and talking to you because we just witnessed an all-time great playoff game and one the Chiefs were so fortunate enough to be on the winning side of.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I said to you in the calm before the storm, I really hope this is not, or we were previewing the game, I said, I hope this isn't our last preview of the season because that would really suck. And with 13 seconds left in the game, I thought that was it for us, Michael. I really did. I thought that the season was over. But, and look, there's been a lot of situations in the past where I'm like, it's over. And Patrick Mahomes, no, just wheels us into a win. Pulls a rabbit out of a hat and win the game. But with 13 seconds left, I'm like, that might be too much to overcome. Like, this one's over. Nope. 13 seconds left. Patrick Mahomes throws for whatever hell it was, 60 yards in like 13 seconds. Harrison Butker field goal, redemption field goal after a game for him, and we'll talk about him later. But I mean, holy shit, dude. I told you, Michael. It's an over my dead body game from Patrick Mahomes. It was always going to be an over my dead body game. But I could not have predicted this. I really couldn't.
No. Like Josh Allen came to play.
33 of 44 for 378 yards and 3 touchdowns. They were moving the ball on the number 1 Buffalo Bills defense all night long. And I mean all night long. There were some questionable play calls that I thought made the game closer than it needed to be. But we can get into that later. But right now, we're just enjoying this win because, folks, you just witnessed the Chiefs put on what might have been the greatest game we've ever seen, no matter how old you are. And the Chiefs are heading to the AFC Championship game.
We've seen 2 Super Bowls. We've seen the Chiefs go to 2 Super Bowls, win one, and yet this game surpassed that. Like, this game was a back and forth affair, and the Chiefs somehow found a way to win. Like at the end of the day, when there was 13 seconds left, I was like, all right, there is a chance. But I thought Harrison Butker was got to kick like a 60-yarder, and it took 2 plays to go like 50 yards. Like the fact that the Bills defense just collapsed. But at the end of the day, like the Chiefs offense was not going to allow them to lose this game. Like you saw it in the final minute of the game, and I think that's kind of bullshit because they scored way too quickly. Tyreek Hill caught that slant and just burned past everybody. And I said this on Twitter, Tyreek Hill owns the Buffalo Bills. He owns them. Like what he did in last year's AFC Championship game and what he did in this game, it's unbelievable. Like the Chiefs didn't play a great game tonight. Well, they played a great game. They didn't play great at all times. Defensively, some would argue, and I would argue that it was a meltdown. But Patrick Mahomes didn't care. Like the offense somehow wasn't fazed by this absolute abomination that was the Chiefs defense, and they won this game. Like at the end of the day, the defense was bad, But that doesn't matter anymore. This is a next round, and you found a way to win in advance, and that's all that matters. I can't believe this.
Yeah, well, and they had some injuries tonight, but the big one is Tyrann Mathieu with the concussion. I think that's, unless it was a real bad concussion, and it took them a while for them to rule him completely out, which makes me think that it's on the lower end of the spectrum when it comes to concussion. So hopefully he could be back for the next game, because obviously his loss showed up on one of who was it for the Bills? Who went off for the Bills tonight? Gabriel Davis. He had a touchdown that Juan Thornhill got caught lacking on. You missed Tyrann there. Tyrann's also someone that people got to remember. He is the captain of that secondary. He tells a lot of guys where to be, and they actually had Mathieu playing in the slot, kind of like in that nickel role before he went down. And I think that was to try to keep Mike Hughes off the field. And once he was gone and the injury started piling up, you saw Mike Hughes, and that was one of the biggest things I was scared of in this game defensively, because Mike Hughes is awful. He is awful. I'm sorry. I'm not pulling back. Mike Hughes is an awful cornerback. How do you fall down in the biggest moment of the game up to that point? I don't know.
But I will say this. Armani Watts, for being thrown into the spotlight, I thought played
my goodness,
very well. We've been banging the drum forever, and yet with Dan Sorensen and Juan Thornhill just basically in charge of everything, they did enough. Because I said this in my recap, which is coming as I'm talking to you. They did enough early on in the game to at least give some buffer room. You know what I mean? Like, they forced a couple drives in which, okay, a punt here or there. And this is a Bills offense that didn't punt against the Patriots last week. So, they didn't look good when it really mattered, but they found a way to do something earlier in the game to at least give them a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, and I wish Hydra was here. I don't know if he's still going to come on or not yet. But if he was here, he would be absolutely celebrating the fact we saw Armani Watts on the field tonight, because he's been one of Armani Watts' biggest advocates, as well as you, Michael. I know you've wanted to see him for the longest time. I have too. But it almost, seeing him tonight, the fact that they just threw Armani Watts out there in the biggest game of the year when they kind of refused to do it all year long, makes me wonder if Spags knew he was making the wrong decision all season long by not playing him. And it was just such a high stakes game where he's like, I got to swallow my pride and I got to play Armani Watts. Because that should have been what happened for most of the season. Because you see what he can do now. And he put in some good snaps tonight. So I was really happy that we saw Armani Watts.
Curious, what were some things back then? Was it more of kind of a radical shift for you? Was it just some small changes you made? What were some of those changes you made?
My computer's got
Michael's got commercials playing or something.
What is going on?
I remember my trainer, who is now.
I have no clue what is going on.
I did not know that.
Are you on ESPN?
Stage real quick.
If I'd say to him, you were
I think Michael might be on ESPN.com and an ad started playing in the background or something. I'm going to let him figure that out. But when he comes back, we'll talk about the offense, because I kind of want to start with them. They just had an amazing game tonight. We're going to talk about the big three, because the Chiefs don't win this game without their big three. I'm going to add Michael back real quick and see if he figured it out.
But you don't
give me like 10.
No, he's still got it. Okay, I'll give him. I'll give him 10 more seconds to figure out what the heck he's got going on. I guess I can go over some of your guys' comments while we're waiting for him. Lightning KO says, how is Fenton? I haven't kept up with his injury. Is it possible for him to come back? He was questionable before this game and then got ruled out before game time. So the fact that he was questionable before this game makes me feel like he's on the right track to come back from his back injury. And I got a private chat. Okay, Michael's ready. I'll bring him back.
Sorry, we just gave Miss Abby Shaw some free podcast publicity because I'm on Headliner and they just started playing an ad. I don't know where it came from, but sorry. What was the question you asked? I got distracted.
Well, I was just talking about how great Armani Watts was and everything that we got to see him tonight. If you have anything to add to that, I was going to talk about the offense in depth.
Oh yeah, I mean the kind of production we got from him when dude, he got thrusted into the biggest game of his life and just he was not the problem tonight. If anything, Mike Hughes was the problem. I thought Charvarius Ward played exceptionally well in this game. Stephon Diggs was like, what? He had maybe 10 yards. He was held to like 7 catches for like 4 yards or something crazy like that.
Yeah. Stephon Diggs, he had that iconic picture last year where he stayed to watch the Chiefs celebrate, and everyone was like, oh, do you remember Stephon Diggs stood at half field watching the Chiefs celebrate? Oh, he's going to go off in this game. He remembers. He had 7 receiving yards tonight. 7.
Oh my gosh, man. Like, we're going to the AFC Championship game. After everything that we've been through this year, the Chiefs are broken. Patrick Mahomes, if he's broken, shit, break me. like I don't know what even there is to say. Like, just greatness. That's all I can say. We just witnessed greatness. That's what we saw.
He was masterful tonight, especially on that first drive too, where he showed his inner Josh Allen running the ball. I love the way that he took off and ran and was able to take some hits tonight. Usually he doesn't do that, but in the regular season, it's a little bit different because you're trying to save your body. But tonight he was willing to put his body on the line. And even though he's putting his body on the line and getting some bad hits taken to him, the refs were not calling anything, which kind of made me upset. But it is what it is. They still won.
Yeah. Really quickly, he had more rushing yards than Josh Allen.
Yeah. Even though Josh Allen ran a bunch of designed runs. I mean, Mahomes, a lot of this stuff that he was running was improv. I mean, especially on that, I think it was the first offensive drive, the way that he marched down the field and scored a touchdown. From that drive on, I knew, Mahomes is not letting us lose this game. He's not letting us lose. I mean, he just had that fire in his eyes. Like, sometimes there's different version of Mahomes, and you can kind of tell one from the other. And tonight we got that I'm going to fucking end your season, Patrick Mahomes.
Dude, that, like, I can't get over 13 seconds. 13 seconds. How do you go the length of the football field in 13 seconds? How do you let that even happen? Like, the fact that we had a chance to even get this game into overtime is a miracle. And once we won the coin toss, there was no doubt in my mind the Chiefs are going to win. There was no doubt in my mind at all.
I know. There was no doubt in my mind either. Well, only once when there was 13 seconds left. After that, I was like, oh yeah, just rig the coin toss, do whatever it takes, just win the coin toss, and this game is going to be over. I knew as soon as they won the coin toss that Mahomes was going to win that game for him. And let's talk about the guys that helped him get this win tonight. The big 3 in particular, Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. They stepped up. You needed them to step up in this game, and boy, did they. Travis Kelce, 8 receptions for 96 yards and a touchdown, including the game-winning touchdown in overtime, a toe tapper. And Tyreek Hill, like you said, the owner of the Buffalo Bills, 11 receptions for 150 yards and a touchdown. He also had the big kick return that set the Chiefs up for a field goal because every point mattered in this game. Can't let that go forgotten. And then he had the amazing slant that he just took all the way for a score. I thought maybe he left a little bit too much time on the clock. Doesn't matter anymore. And he was just a beast tonight. He really was. And he was also instrumental in the drive that set up the field goal with 13 seconds left.
And I think you said this backstage. No other quarterback can do what Patrick Mahomes did with 13 seconds. Tom Brady sure as hell isn't going the length of the football field in 13 seconds. But really quickly, I want to read this quote because I see it on Instagram. Andy Reid told Patrick Mahomes with 13 seconds left in regulation, he said, when it's grim, be the Grim Reaper. And Patrick Mahomes with 13 seconds left. Like, Buffalo Bills fans were talking shit on my Twitter. Like, they already thought they had that game won. And they somehow didn't hold up. And at that point, like, the Chiefs just played better when it counted. And I think the Bills played a phenomenal game. But goodness gracious, the Chiefs just played better when they needed to.
Well, and also some of the other secondary options, such as Byron Pringle. He had a couple of drops tonight, which I think that happens more often than you would like with Pringle, but he still gave you 5 receptions for 29 yards. And McCole Hardman turning on the Jets tonight, 1 reception for 26 yards. And he also had, I guess they have it down for a rushing play because he had the one play. Yeah. 2 carries for 31 yards and a touchdown. He played his role perfectly like he has been as of recently for the Chiefs. He's really matured, and it's just all coming together for this team at the perfect time.
I don't know how you can win this kind of game and just lay an egg next week against the Bengals. Like, this is just, it's just meant to be. The Chiefs are just meant to go back and have a chance. And we'd either play the 49ers or we'd play the Rams if we can beat the Bengals. Like, it's absolutely absurd what our franchise has become with Patrick Mahomes. And honestly, Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, but he can't win big games. And in games that feel impossible for the Chiefs to win, Patrick Mahomes somehow pulls something out of nothing. And that's something, I think Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. He's not a winner like Patrick Mahomes is. He's just not.
Well, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is 11-10 in his postseason career. Mahomes just earned his 8th postseason win tonight at 26 years old. I mean, I'm sorry. If Mahomes goes out there and he wins another Super Bowl this year, he's already ahead of Rodgers because, I mean, he already has more Super Bowl appearances than Rodgers. Yeah. Rodgers only made it past the NFC Championship game one time. And what he did yesterday against the 49ers, and it's kind of off topic a little bit, but man, you only score 10 points and lose to a team that didn't score an offense or a defensive touchdown. Oh, that's not good for his legacy whatsoever. But we got Patrick Mahomes, and we are sitting pretty, and I preached it all this past week. You guys have Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't lose games like these. We both
said this. Like, it was an over my dead body game, and Mahomes was either going to win this game or he was going to die. He was going to die if he didn't win it. And against all odds, Patrick Mahomes is the greatest thing I've seen in quite some time. Like I know Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time, but Patrick Mahomes does stuff that is just unprecedented, and he still wins games. Like, I can't even believe this. And you have a week of preparation. You go up against Joe Burrow and the offensive line that's equivalent to the Shawnee Mission East practice squad. You can find a way to manipulate that because you saw guys like Jerron Reed got good pressure in this game. Chris Jones on one of the key third downs got at least 2 of them, and I think tackled their running back. But we saw the pressure at times. Melvin Ingram, build him a fucking statue already. He's been phenomenal. Like, I think the pass rush is going to be good next week. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, the Chiefs defense got cooked by Josh Allen. Josh Allen's the best quarterback you're going to have to face. You will not face a quarterback that is like Josh Allen again. It just won't happen. I think Joe Burrow is that guy, but he's not Josh Allen yet. And wow.
Yeah. Also, shout out to our running backs tonight, Jerick McKinnon and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Jerick McKinnon, besides a couple of blunders like on the sideline, he also had the pitch play. Not really his fault, though. The Bills just read it perfectly. But the Blake Bell pitch, which, by the way, I'll just talk about that play call now. I was not a fan of that. It was 4th and 1, and you run a option pitch that doesn't involve Patrick Mahomes, and you were running the ball up the gut very well leading up to that 4th and 1 play. And that pitch, if you score there, none of the other stuff is necessary that the Chiefs had to do in this game. And also, if Harrison Butker just makes his kicks, this game also doesn't end the way that it did. It doesn't end the way that it had to. And Harrison Butker in the postseason, man, get it together, because he pulled this in the AFC divisional round last year before Chad Henne had to come out and save us. And you just can't have that. Butker, get your shit together.
I think he actually missed the same amount of points in this game that he did last year. I think he missed a field goal and extra point.
He missed a field goal and an extra point. Yep. 4 points on the board.
And honestly, like, I know, but Butker needs to step his game up. And it's frustrating, but at least we were able to find a way to win. At least we were able to find a way to win.
Yeah. But before I kind of got off topic there, talking about the play call and Butker and everything, but I meant to shout out our running backs, Jerick McKinnon and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. McKinnon did his thing, especially on the screen in overtime. That was a beautiful play. I was wondering where the screen was most of the night before they called that. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire from the depths of hell had a fantastic game. 7 carries for 60 yards. And I think Clyde has started to read my Twitter, and he took the criticism personally.
We saw big plays. Clyde was a big play guy today.
Yeah.
I don't know where it came from, but he looked great. And honestly, like, I think we talk about how good the offense was to end the game. But even in, like, before the game ended, like, they were looking good all game long. Like, the stuff that they were able to do. And Jerick McKinnon, man, he has just been so good. So good. And I think that the Bills were definitely expecting him to do a lot in this game, and it kind of took some pressure off of Travis and Tyreek. Yeah, Hitchens was a little bit rough. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you needed the run game to step up tonight, so you weren't relying so much on the pass game, and the Bills run a lot of too high, and you needed to take advantage of the light boxes. And I thought they did a good job taking advantage of light boxes tonight. Finally, it was just something that they had struggled to do most of the year. But the offense, they played damn near perfect tonight, besides a couple blunders. And quite frankly, I thought Reed got out coached down the stretch, but the Chiefs still won anyway because they had Patrick fucking Mahomes.
That's all. That's all. Like, Patrick Mahomes, and I know we're probably like, oh, stop talking about Mahomes, talk about the game. Mahomes is quite possibly. How can you not? He's one of the most valuable players you could ever possibly have. Like, you know how incredible it is that you were able to at least tie this game and send it into overtime when you got when you basically had everything going up against you, and he still found a way to march down the field against the number 1 scoring defense. Yeah,
and we said that number 1 scoring defense title was fraudulent. The Chiefs had 552 total yards of offense tonight. They were 8 of 13 on third down and had 30 first downs.
There's just, you can't stop Pat. He is. It's just everyone that needed to be great was great tonight, at least on offense. And honestly, defensively, I don't know where you stand on this, but I think that against the Bengals next week, they'll have figured some stuff out. I do think Tyrann Mathieu will probably play. And this team just looks unstoppable right now.
Yeah. Also, because I'm ready to talk about the defense, but real quick, also wanted to give a shout out while Michael watches his own video.
Oh, you can hear that? Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear it. It's no big deal though. No, I was just gonna shout out the offensive line real quick, because you guys in the comments are pointing it out, and yeah, I agree. Creed was the real deal tonight once again, like he has been all year. Blocking was phenomenal, not just in the running game, but in the pass game too. No one stuck out like a sore thumb. Andrew Wiley also held his own, and the Bills, one of their biggest weaknesses last year was their pass rush. They added to that by drafting guys like Carlos Basham and Greg Rousseau. Ed Oliver is also a monster in the middle of their defense, and the Chiefs' offensive line was still able to have a really successful night tonight. There goes Michael. Michael just had to drop out for a second. Not sure what happened there, but I'll go over some of your guys' comments while I'm waiting for him to come back. I saw Eric say that Hitchens belongs in the depths of hell. Hitchens from the get-go, man, was just not – he was not it. Taking Bolton off the field, and Chase mentions this, Bolton should have been starting. Bolton made so many plays tonight. I'll go more in depth on that, assuming Michael Darcy comes back here in a second. But he was absolutely phenomenal. And Eric Code says, oh, no, I already went over that comment a second ago. Marlon says Diggs' revenge game went well for him. 7 receiving yards. Not great. Not great. There you are.
I cannot hear you currently, so that...
Well, I can hear you, so just let me know whenever you can hear me, and I'll keep answering some of these guys' comments and questions. I'll just give you a second to figure that out. Super Bowl LIV champions. I can't believe they actually got that with 13 seconds left. I know, man. Like I said at the beginning of the video, since it appears you hopped in later on, so many times I just go, you know what? Patrick Mahomes has gotten us out of a lot of situations that I thought he couldn't. And this game with 13 seconds left, I was thinking that I was like, there's no way he can overcome that. Like that, there's not enough time left on the clock. The Chiefs played that wrong, and there's just no way. And nope, he moves the ball with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, close enough to get Butker a 48-yard field goal attempt as time expires to get the team to overtime. And no other quarterback, no other quarterback moves that ball quick enough to get a field goal try in 13 seconds. I'm sorry. That was all Patrick Mahomes. Just amazing. Also, since I'll probably be answering your comments for a minute or two, just wanted to let you know, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. And if you're also feeling generous, just messaged me. Sorry, I think I might have cut out there. But Michael just messaged me and said to give him a few minutes. Looks like he's having technical difficulties. But yeah, you can donate by sending a super chat. Really helps the channel if any of you guys are willing. And then you can also just help us out by sharing this video so more Chiefs fans can find it and grows the fan base and we can have more fun in here. But continuing, Eric T says Ingram is so good too. The Ingram edition cannot be understated. He was wrecking guys tonight. That dude, he has so much juice off the edge. And he also has underrated edge setting ability. Error code says Jerick is such a good receiving back. He really is. He's got the juice. I wanted to see him all year long. I said he's the perfect third down back. He's the perfect red zone back. And we've finally been able to see him. I don't know why there was so much little usage over the regular season with him. He only had 25 touches in the regular season and then explodes onto the scene against the Steelers. But I'm happy that we have him now. I really do. Marlon says, I wonder, does Alex Smith get that done? I'm sorry. No chance in hell. If Alex Smith is playing in this game, the Chiefs do not score 42 points. Philip Johnson says, Tyreek Hill doing everything for us during punt return and being a receiver. What do you think about the special teams coach? Put him back there kind of a lot. When you're in a game as high stakes as this one, you tend to do things you wouldn't typically do and put your stars in situations that you might not be comfortable putting them in during the regular season. But, I think putting Tyreek Hill on returns there that was a smart move because, look what it resulted in. Like, I can't say it was the wrong decision given what happened on that play. Because he's just such a dangerous threat to score. You don't want to do it too much and overwhelm Hill with his responsibilities. But, I am a fan of putting him back there here and there during the postseason. Looks like Michael is back, though, so I will add him back in. All good to go, Michael? You can hear me?
Yeah, my computer had a stroke, so I'm glad I'm back. I think my computer's about as excited as I am right now. So
would make sense. But,
yeah.
Michael, now that you're back, let's talk about this defense because we saw some good, but I think we saw a lot of bad. You could probably say we saw more bad than good. Giving up 36 to Buffalo is not ideal, especially when you had film and prior experience against them this season to go off from. Like I said, I'm glad we saw Armani Watts in this game. That was a smart personnel decision by Spags. We also saw some Dorian O'Daniel playing QB spy at the beginning of the game, which I was also a fan of. I would have also liked to see DOD more than Hitchens, who is not well in space, as we've seen. They had a few carries at the beginning of the game, the Bills offense, and Hitchens he was so slow. It was painful to watch. Also, I don't know how you can justify taking Nick Bolton off the field as much as the Chiefs do, because man, that guy makes an impact. He's saved
just a spark plug. He's so good.
He saved like 3 offensive drives from being extended, with being able to make tackles in the backfield and blowing up plays. Like, he's so good, so good.
Like, Nick Bolton was one of the stars on defense. Like, without Nick Bolton, you wouldn't have gotten off the field a couple different times. And it's unreal. I don't think it's really sunk in yet that we're going to host another AFC championship game. And we have a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
I don't think we have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. I think we are going to the Super Bowl. And I know people
fucking love that energy. Keep that energy all week because I will be too.
People don't like when I talk in assumptions, and I've been one of the more pessimistic fans in Chiefs Kingdom when things are going bad for this team. You don't win a game like this to lose to the Bengals in the AFC Championship at home. And the defense was absolutely unideal tonight. Yeah. But if they can just clean that up a little bit, they're not losing to the Bengals. They're not. And I think a lot of the defensive struggles had to do with the fact that Tyrann Mathieu went out with injury tonight. And if I had to guess right now, I would say Tyrann Mathieu plays next week because the concussion was something they ruled him out for a lot longer after the injury initially happened. So, concussions, they can be tricky, but I would say he's back next week. And that's huge because I think if you have Tyrann tonight, a guy like Gabriel Davis doesn't go off for 8 receptions and 201 yards because the Chiefs, their depth took a hit when Matthew went out, and then Ward got hurt at one point, and they started having to move guys around, and their depth got exposed. And I think also this game is another example of why the Chiefs cannot continue to spend pennies on the dollar at the cornerback position.
Are you still talking? You might have cut out a little bit.
Sorry, I think I cut out there a second. Yep. But I was saying that I think this game was an example that the Chiefs cannot continue to keep going cheap at corner and expect to get by because too many times this happens where one guy goes off on the Chiefs and they just don't have an answer for it because they don't have the personnel for it. I also think L'Jarius Sneed had a disappointing game tonight. I don't know if it was because he was trying to do too much, but I saw a very lost L'Jarius Sneed out there tonight. And the secondary in general, especially Mike Hughes, dude. Mike Hughes cannot see the field, and that's why I am praying that Rashad Fenton has ice on his back right now.
Yeah, we need Rashad Fenton back. I didn't even know that Darryl was inactive for this game until the game time started. Like, I just didn't see it. But we need Darryl back next week. We need the entire crew. But Josh, like, what we saw in this game obviously wasn't ideal. We saw the Buffalo Bills cut up our defense, but I don't want to say the defense doesn't matter, but after we saw what Patrick Mahomes can do with his back against the wall, I mean, who gives a shit? like at a certain point, the dude's just going to be great. And obviously we're going to need our defense to step up next week. But if Patrick Mahomes is playing like this, like it doesn't
It's
matter.
over for the Bengals. I'm
and
sorry.
Honestly,
it's over for the Bengals. Their Cinderella run ends next weekend.
This feels so sweet because the Chiefs didn't get the chance to touch the ball in 2018 against Tom Brady in the playoffs. And I still think the overtime rule should be changed. I still believe that.
Yeah.
But
hey, this is making up for 2018 when they stole a Super Bowl appearance from us.
It's revenge. It just is revenge. But I mean, we're talking about it all week. Like the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, they don't lose to guys at home that are not named Tom Brady. Like they find a way to win, and that's what they did tonight. And this game, this game is like the Texans game in fucking 2019. We were trying to draw comparisons all week long. This was that kind of game.
Yeah, it was a lot like it. There was a lot of thrill going into it. There was a lot of thrill during the game. Also defensively, the pass rush I thought let the defense down a little bit tonight too. I thought they took way too long to get any sort of pressure on Josh Allen. Melvin Ingram had a really good impact. I thought Chris Jones was rather quiet tonight. He did have that big tackle on Devin Singletary, but it ended up not mattering because the Bills score a touchdown on 4th and 13. I think that might have been the Mike Hughes play. But either way, just a rough defensive night. And also playoff Frank Clark so far continues to be a myth. I'm sorry.
I mean, he was a little quiet tonight. He was, but playoff Melvin, I'll take playoff Melvin.
Oh yeah, playoff Melvin. Build that man a statue. Also, did you see how hyped he was after the game? I saw him. He like hugged Mahomes at half field, and he was hyped as hell. And I'm so happy for him because Melvin Ingram never got to experience this type of playoff success with the Chargers. He knows the type of situation and environment that he's in, and he is just cherishing this moment.
And he's making the most of it, and he's helping the team win. Like, everyone said that when we brought in Terrell Suggs in 2019, like that was a great addition for depth. But T-Sizzle never really did anything. Melvin Ingram is arguably the second best pass rusher on this team, not named Chris Jones.
Oh, like, he is. He's the second best.
Like you don't get that kind of production, and the Steelers gave him to us. Like we're so lucky to fall ass backwards into landing Melvin Ingram, and we're just blessed. Like I can't believe it, and like it still hasn't sunk in yet. I'm gonna watch the highlights of this game probably 30 times tonight.
Oh yeah. I can't. It's been a while since I've been on social media. I can't wait to see the player reaction, the coach reaction, and also the silly look on all the national media's faces and all the Bills fans' faces, knowing that they picked their Bills to win and they lost to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, because everyone doubted the Chiefs heading into this game. Just about everyone except for Nate Burleson. Thanks, Nate Burleson.
We're rocking with Nate Burleson, guys.
But seriously, I mean, I think Nate Burleson was one of the only like big names that I saw picking us to win. Michael, you and I can attest to this. There were Bills fans like all over Chiefs YouTube comments just saying, "Oh, you guys don't watch Josh Allen. You're underestimating the Bills. Bye-bye. Have fun on the couch because we're moving on and you're not."
Dude, Bills fans didn't even wait for the game to be over to hit up my Twitter. Like I was getting with 13 seconds and I was getting, like this aged well. And honestly, they've all deleted their tweets now. But it's just, at the end of the day, like the Bills just found out how good Patrick Mahomes was. Like this was a Bills team that was probably one of, if not the best in the league. Like they were so good on offense. They were so good on defense. And yet it didn't matter because Patrick Mahomes is just greater. Like it's unbelievable.
It really is. I'm going to go over some comments real quick, just because I'm getting a couple questions. Josh, do you think they might be trying to rest their stars? I know it sounds stupid, but in my opinion, a full force Chiefs team, full force Bengal team. Well, yeah, but you also can't face a full force Bengal team if you don't make it past the Bills. I don't think they were trying to rest anyone or anything like that tonight.
Yeah, I think that'd be very foolish.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying, but yeah, no, they did not go into tonight planning on resting anyone that is a significant contributor. Also, Marlon Suddington brings up Nick Wright. Yeah, Nick Wright, he picks the Chiefs to win all the time. He's also from KC. He came up at 610 radio. He's a massive Chiefs homer. I'm confident about the Chiefs sometimes, but that dude Nick Wright, sometimes and I love Nick Wright, but sometimes, man, he just is so overconfident. I'm like, dude, if the Chiefs lose, like you're gonna look really stupid. Yeah. I cannot put myself out there like he does.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I did that, but like he goes in, like he goes like 2 feet in the pool, like jumps in it, and
well, he'll say stuff like, I remember during the Chiefs Steelers playoff game after Mahomes threw an interception to TJ Watt and the Chiefs looked terrible. He's like, "Oh, looky, Patrick Mahomes getting his first interception out of the way now, so they can he doesn't have to throw another one for the rest of the playoffs." And he was saying stuff like, the Chiefs are about to roll over everyone, and if they get an injury, it's like, oh, now the Chiefs only win by 2 scores instead of 3. I'm like, that type of confidence, man, I don't know where you get it from.
Yeah, I think it's a lot for show, but fuck, he's been right. Like he's been right a lot recently
so far. Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm gonna have to go watch Bills fans' reactions to this because they've got to be on suicide watch right now.
Oh, they've got. I remember I tweeted something right out after we won. It was like, "Rip Bozo, sending the Bills home," and I had someone quote tweet it, and they were like, "Overtime rules." I'm like, shut the hell up. We went through the same thing in 2018. We deserve this moment. And really, again, going back to appreciating what you have with Patrick Mahomes. For years on end, the Chiefs were on the opposite end of this game. A heartbreaking loss, and it's just their time, and they run the AFC. The AFC runs through Arrowhead. It runs through Patrick Mahomes, and tonight was a reminder. And you know how I said that the talk of comparing Allen to Mahomes needs to die if the Chiefs win this game. Well, they won, and it needs to die. And I'm not saying Josh Allen isn't a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback, and I think, like you said, he played great tonight. he's just not better than Mahomes because Mahomes is in a different stratosphere than everyone else.
Yeah, like I think we saw it, like Josh Allen was going blow for blow, but like it's kind of like when Tyreek Hill is running, like he's fast, but then it just like he hits the second gear and he just blows by everybody. Like Mahomes went into the second gear and it was it's a gear that no one else can go into. Like it's just that's the Mahomes gear, and only
there's a second gear and then there's a third gear that he can unlock.
Yeah, like no one on the planet could do exactly what he can do. Nothing will ever change. Like he just keeps winning playoff games, and we still find a way to doubt him. Not we, but the media.
Yeah, and the fan base sometimes in general forgets too. Like there's some people out there that are like, massive homers, and I'm not calling anyone out in particular or anything, but yeah, the Chiefs fan base has some homers in it, and they're sometimes I remember during like the third quarter of the 2020 Super Bowl, people are like, not worried. I'm like, come on, this is over. It's over. You can calm down now. But sometimes the fan base does need to be reminded, including you and myself, that we have Patrick Mahomes and everything's going to be all right.
And honestly, I think, like, I tweeted this out. I'm going to have to go back and look at my Twitter timeline. But when we had the ball and we were down, because the lead changed like 4 times in the final minute of the game. But I even said, like, let me find it. Because it's just like when the game is on the Patrick Mahomes is the game on the line with 1 minute and 54 seconds left. There's nobody else I'd rather have in this moment. Like, he's just that guy. But also the next tweet was, we might have left too much time for Josh Allen, which we did.
We did. And can someone please get Patrick Mahomes a defense? Could you imagine how dominant we would be if we just had a good defense? And I know they played great down the stretch, and I think tonight was an outlier and injury had something to do with it. But I do think some of it is Spags. I'll be honest, I was ready to fire Spags before the 13-second ordeal. But man, it just sucks that we got to see guys like Ben Neiman and Mike Hughes and Dan Sorensen on third down all the time. It's just not a winning proposition, and they damn near cost the game. Someone please get Patrick Mahomes a defense.
Yeah, like the things that he would do with the Bills defense would be,
oh my god,
crimes against humanity. It would be ugly. Like it's just there's just like the Bills, they did everything they could. They got the lead with 13 seconds left, and Mahomes just like, gotcha, bitch, and just took the game back. Like, it just didn't matter.
Also, speaking of the Bills defense, I forgot to mention this, but on the Tyreek Hill play in overtime, it was one of his receptions. I forget how long it went for. I just know that he broke a couple tackles along the way, and one of them was Micah Hyde. Did you see Tyreek Hill threw Micah Hyde down like a rag doll?
Oh,
that was amazing. If you go back and watch that last overtime offensive drive, I don't know if you guys in the comments saw it. Let me know if you did. But in overtime, Tyreek Hill just stiff armed Micah Hyde to the ground like he was a little kid. And Tyreek Hill, like he's rocked up, but he's only like 5'8", 5'9", and he just threw Micah Hyde to the ground. I loved it.
Yeah, like, dude, Tyreek Hill owns the Buffalo Bills. Like what he did in space last year in the AFC Championship game. Like, it was almost like a carbon copy in the final minute. Like, he got that ball and just zoom. Like, he just turned on a jet and just blew past everybody. Like, it was just unbelievable. And honestly, like we've been talking about, and I know it's probably repetitive, this is our reaction. We'll probably we're going to talk about this game a lot in the next week because it was one of the best games of all time. But the fact that the Chiefs persevered and found a way to win when literally nothing was going their way. I don't know how to beat this team. I don't know how to do that.
Well, and the Bills got so many breaks, and Harrison Butker left 4 points on the field, and the Chiefs had the third down blunder in the red zone where it was 3rd and 1 and they ran a pitch option. I mean, the Bills had this game in their hands, and Patrick Mahomes ripped it right out.
We've never seen this before. Like, it's unfair. I can't even put into words what I'm feeling right now because, like, with 13 seconds left and the Bills went up 36-33, all these like, oh man, our season really ends like that. Like it's just how disappointing. And Patrick Mahomes didn't allow us to lose this football game. And that's what it comes down to.
Yep. He's just so fantastic. Also, I see Huckleberry Rattler is in the chat. I want to give him a shout out real quick because I saw in my notifications, like before we went live, he was already in my comments heckling all the Bills fans that were so confident, saying that they were going to win and that your prediction and my prediction was trash. And, oh, we don't watch Josh Allen enough. Thank you, Huckleberry Rattler, for fighting the good fight, going in my comments and trolling all those Bills fans. Also, Lego My Ego. Let's go, Chiefs Kingdom. What an epic victory. I agree. 13-second victory. Just an amazing game. I mean, I had people shooting fireworks outside my house after that game. Too. And I live in St. Louis, so it's not like Chiefs fans are everywhere, even though there's a nice contingent of them. But, man, that just made me feel so good that people were shooting off fireworks after that game.
That game, like we were getting fireworks before like overtime even hit. Like that's what we had. And it's just, guys, we have to savor this moment. Like we have possibly the greatest thing that we've ever seen, and we can win games like this. And we went from just having a lot of tough playoff losses year in and year out, and one guy has changed the trajectory of our franchise. And it's just, now we know what it feels like. Like wow.
What a game. And I had people texting me too. And before the 13 seconds drive by Mahomes, I had people texting me that are like, oh, that's game. All of that sucks. And I don't know if you have any friends like this. I have friends that like, I'll talk football sometimes with every once in a while, and they never talk to me. And then like the Chiefs will lose and they'll be like, ha, the Chiefs, they just lost. Oh my God. And it's like, screw off. Like, come on, really?
And it's worse because like we're content creators. So fucking everyone and their mother texts you and it's just like,
oh yeah.
Like what's going on? And it's just like, I don't know, man. But I had that. Yeah. A lot of people were jumping on and they're just like, what's going on? And honestly, my outlook was bleak, and my family was like, just get in field goal range and Butker can do it. And I was like, I don't know if I believe that, but Butker did it.
I didn't even respond. I just put my phone down and I'm like, I'm not trying to hear this shit right now.
It's just time to pray. It's time to
pray. And then Patrick fucking Mahomes drove you down the field twice, once with 13 seconds on the clock and again in overtime, and won the game. And you're going to the AFC Championship game where you're going to kick the shit out of the Cincinnati Bengals for what they did during the regular season. And the pass rush is going to step up, and the Bengals offensive line, if they did what they did against Tennessee, this one's not going to be close.
We are so blessed. Like we can go to the fucking Super Bowl, Josh. like there is a very good chance that you're going to get revenge on the Bengals and you're going to go to a third straight Super Bowl. Like, well, life's wild. Life's wild.
I don't want to get too ahead, even though I just said we're going to beat the Bengals. But
yeah,
looking at the NFC right now, and I'll wrap it up in a little bit since we've been going a while, and I'll let you enjoy the win. But we see it's the Rams and the Niners in the NFC Championship now. Also, Tom Brady's out of the playoffs. Not something we brought out yet.
Thank the Lord.
But Tom Brady is gone. Finally, you don't have to worry about him. And they almost came back, and I thought, oh man, here goes Brady's luck again. But anyway, Michael, if the Chiefs do make it to the Super Bowl, who would you like to see come out of the NFC?
Oh man, I'm gonna say the 49ers, and the reason I'm gonna say the 49ers, I think their defense is good. It'd be a little rematch, but I think you've got to have a great quarterback to beat this team. And Jimmy G does not scare me in the slightest. No. So give me them.
And I don't think this 49ers team is as dangerous as the one that we faced a couple years ago in the Super Bowl that we won. And I think a Super Bowl matchup in general would actually be pretty fun. I also don't want to see the Rams too, because one, I think the Rams are probably better than the 49ers, but also, being in St. Louis, I saw the way the Rams left. I know what their owner did to them. Their owner is just kind of a scumbag piece of shit. If you don't know who Stan Kroenke is,
yeah, he's a piece of shit.
yeah, you can go look him up if you don't know. I actually did a video on it and it did really well. Just kind of talking about him and the Rams relocation and how that went down. If the Chiefs faced the Rams in the Super Bowl and they lost, I would never be able to live it down because I hate Stan Kroenke. I hate the Rams. And that would be a tough game for me to swallow if we made it to the Super Bowl and lost to them.
Yeah.
But I would like to see the Niners come out of the NFC.
But honestly, you got to look at it like this: like the Rams tried to give the Buccaneers that game, like literally, like spoon feed them the game. So obviously, we'd have to see in the pass rush of the Rams is significantly better. But honestly, like as much as we are confident against the Bengals,
but real quick, Michael. We have Joe Tooney, who actually pretty much locked up Aaron Donald in that Patriots 2018 Super Bowl. And I think that's one of the reasons we signed him is because he is good against elite competition.
That is true. Orlando Brown kind of got cooked tonight a little bit, a couple times. But besides that, I thought Mahomes had adequate time. And
yeah,
it's just, man.
And Mahomes is just an escape artist tonight, too. Like there were a couple times where I'm like, oh, he's getting brought down. And then he just comes out of the huddle and just runs it on down for a first down, however many yards, whatever. Yeah, fantastic game. One of the best games I've ever seen.
I don't know if anything will top that. Literally, I don't know how you can top that. And man, we're blessed to have Patrick Mahomes. I can't even believe. Honestly, I'm thinking about maybe going to that AFC Championship game. We might have to see.
You know, funny enough, I had a couple friends that asked me if I want to go, and I'm debating because one, it's really freaking expensive, but two, you know, it's a long trip to make. And if I go and we lose, I'm going to have a 4-hour drive back home and something terrible might happen on the road to me if I have to drive back after a loss.
But I'll tell you what, though, if they did win, that would be special. That would be really special. So I'll have to think about it.
I just don't see myself doing well at the stadium during a playoff game. But
yeah, honestly, like I like being in the comfort of my home, watching it with my family and responding to texts and stuff like that. Like I got no problem with that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I like being on Twitter during the game and stuff too,
of course.
And interacting with people. But yeah, anyway, I'll go ahead and wrap it up there since we're almost at an hour. But Michael, it was so good having you on tonight to talk about this game. But before we go, make sure you tell everyone where they can find you on social media and just your content in general.
Sure thing. So you guys can find me on YouTube. Obviously, that is KC Sports Report. I will have a video up in the next 5 minutes, so that is definitely a plus. And go follow me on Twitter. That is at KC Sports Report. I was taking the Bills fans head on this week, and I will definitely not let them live this down. And you guys can follow me on Instagram. That is KC_Sports Report.
All right, so you guys heard it. I'll go ahead and link that in the description after I'm done. You can also find me on Twitter at ShowMeFB or at JoshFan43. As always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. And we will see you all in the next one.
Peace.